Good morning and welcome to Rally's Agile Success Tour. This is the 19th stop, if you like, if you're imagining a little success tour train going around the world. This is the 19th stop. And the aim, well, we have two aims for today, really. One is that you get some tangible information to take back to your teams, to your organizations, on how you can perhaps apply Agile to start with, perhaps to apply it a little bit differently, perhaps to apply it a little bit better, perhaps to apply a little bit more of it. So we want you to take some tangible information away from this. And the second is we want you to start building a little bit of community. So if as the day goes on, I'm sure you'll come across a number of different people from different organizations with different experiences of Agile adoption and Agile success. This is a great opportunity for you to share those stories and perhaps learn something as well. Perhaps make some new contacts. A little shoulder to cry on when it gets difficult, perhaps. I'm not quite sure. Okay, so this is the Agile Success Tour. My name's Jeff Watts. I'm using a new clicker, which doesn't seem to be working for me. So we will go back old school. So my name's Jeff Watts. First of all, I'm quite proud to have been asked to facilitate this event. So I'm not a Rally person. I'm very honoured and proud to work with Rally as an associate coach and trainer from time to time. So this is quite an experience for me. I'm looking forward to this. Meeting you and working with you throughout the day. So I'm looking around the room and I see a few faces that I recognise, a couple of people that I've met before, which is always nice. So some of you will be a little bit aware of my background. Not particularly interesting background, but it's only fair for me to share it with you, or impose it on you. So I started using Scrum when I was at British Telecom, probably about 10 years ago. I was the first Scrum Master at British Telecom. I'm not actually allowed to call it British Telecom anymore. It's BT. Morning.
Sorry, I'm late. Waterloo Station is chaotic.
No worries.
I had to come a long way round.
Come and grab a seat.
Thank you very much.
So yeah, I was the first Scrum Master at BT, and one of those, being in the right place at the right time, or in the wrong place at the right time, whatever you determine. Was then asked to be a coach for teams that were starting out as BT took a kind of big step in transforming their organisation to become more flexible, to become more reactive to customer demands, to aggressively challenge their time to market, these kinds of things. And so I was part of the team that was leading the Agile adoption there. And then about 5 years ago, I went independent, set up my own company called Inspect and Adapt, where I coach and train other organisations in lots of different industries to help them get started with Agile. So I work with Rally now and again, have a good relationship, but I'm also independent, so we can share our stories from that. In terms of who Rally are, I assume most of you know who Rally are. No? Okay. Never heard of them. So Rally, they are, what am I supposed to say? Now, they're an international organisation, okay? So they have a couple of strings to their bow. They obviously have a product, an Agile Lifecycle Management product, which helps teams use Agile across their organisation. And they also provide coaching services as well, so helping teams get started, providing some advice and consultancy, and helping them to go to the next level. I think, I need to check here, how long has the UK office been open? About 18 months? 2 years? Crikey, time flies. Okay, so 2 years they've had an official presence in the UK, in Chiswick, as you can see. And I'm going to try and very quickly introduce you to the team. Unfortunately, we don't have Amanda Holden here today, but we have a number of Rally people here to support you, to ask your questions. We've got Carl Scotland. Say hi, Carl.
Hi, Carl.
There's Carl. One of the best introductions I've heard of Carl recently was from one of his colleagues, actually, Jean Baker. She was introducing him to somebody who'd never met him before. She said, "Well, this is Carl. He's famous." So Carl is very well known in the Agile space, and I'll tell you a little bit more about Carl when I introduce him for his keynote later on. But yeah, Carl, probably well known to you guys. We've also got Tony Gilling. Say hi, Tony.
Hi, Tony.
This is Tony. This is one of Rally's Agile adoption experts. He's also an absolute expert on the tool as well. So if anybody wants to know anything about how this product works, then Tony will be able to answer all of your questions just like that. Yeah? And Tony's going to be part of our executive panel later on as well, and he'll also be providing free optional demos once the day is finished and anybody wants to stay on after hours, then Tony will be walking you through that if that's of interest to you. Where's Sonia? Sonia's outside, still doing the meeting and greeting. So when you came in, you probably saw Sonia Breakstone, part of Rally's marketing team. She'll be around helping us out during the day, making sure the event runs smoothly. If you've got any questions about Rally, you can go to her. We've also got Phil Knight. Is that Phil? Shakib Kaiser, Shaq, as we call him, the Shack. Brendan Walsh. Yeah. Anybody else? Where's Phil McKenzie? Yeah, we've got. I'm struggling. Just met you this morning, James Gregory. Yes, my memory. So first time I met James this morning. Where's Phil McKenzie? Phil just came in. Phil, okay. So we've got a lot of Rally people here today. In case you've got any questions, great opportunities for you to have a chat with them in the breaks or as we're going around. So they're a good bunch. Like I said, no Amanda Holden, unfortunately. But on the plus side, no Simon Cowell. In terms of housekeeping, we are running. We're going to run a number of different sections in the agenda today. They're fairly strictly timed, but we might chop and change slightly depending on how things go. Good news about being in a place like this, apart from the fantastic facilities we've got available to us, is that they rarely do fire drills during the day. Okay, so it's unlikely we're going to be moved from our seats for a test. Obviously the fire exit's pretty close, so we're looking pretty comfortable from that regard. We're going to have a break around about 10:20. So that's when we get access to some more tea and coffee and give ourselves a little bit of a caffeine boost. We've got lunch provided at 1 o'clock. It's going to be a buffet lunch just outside where you registered. So that's there's a couple of stations there, so we shouldn't all be queuing in one queue. Feel free to bring it in, move around, mill around, chat, that kind of thing at lunch. We will have a number of opportunities for questions as well. So we're very lucky to have David Lasquinos. Did I say that right? Pretty good, David Lasquinos. Okay. So David's one of our expert panelists. We're very grateful to have him here. He's going to tell us some stories about Agile at Betfair. Looking forward to that one. So this is a great opportunity for us to mingle, to ask questions. We're going to be having some formal Q&A question time. Not so much that you have to ask questions formally, but there will be some time in the agenda where you can ask questions of our panelists. And obviously, I encourage you to do so. So I'm going to be saying a few words about Agile and Agile success in a minute, which is a great opportunity for you to start thinking about the kinds of questions that you'd like to ask David. Perhaps you'd like to ask Carl, perhaps you'd like to ask Tony, that will be forming our executive panel shortly later on this morning. Great opportunity to think about that while I'm talking. Anything else on the housekeeping? Well, the toilets are just outside where you registered, so feel free to go. We're also videotaping. As you can see, we've got a very expensive-looking camera at the back there. Still not sure it's going to be able to capture me at my best. Please don't let that put you off asking questions. Okay, from my experience of these videotaping sessions, they can only really see and hear the people on the stage, so you're going to be completely fine. All right? We really do want you to ask some questions, so please don't let that put you off. This is mainly for posterity. You'll be able to access these videos if you don't want to be bothered making notes. Something else on the housekeeping? Okay, so you've probably all got your phone. Okay, I'm coming to that, but thanks for the prompt. So I've been holding on to this because I need to remind you guys. Has everybody got a raffle ticket?
No.
No? Okay. Can somebody sort this man out with a raffle ticket, please? There will be a raffle this afternoon for some excellent prizes. Okay. You can't buy extra tickets. All right. So you've got to make sure you've got this raffle ticket. Obviously, you've probably got your phones on silent, as we always tend to do when we're going to presentations. But there's nothing bad about you going online and tweeting. If you're one of these, what do they call the people who use Twitter these days? Twitterers, tweeters, twits. Yeah. With the microphone, I'd better be a little bit safe. Don't want an Andy Gray, Richard Keys moment. Okay, so if you want to tweet, if you want to chirp, whatever you want to do, that's absolutely fine. These are some of the more common hashtags that people seem to use at the Agile Success Tour events. So feel free to do that. No. And this is how this morning, stroke this afternoon, is going to look. So the one thing that isn't on this agenda is me, thankfully. So I'm going, once we've done this, finished this housekeeping, this introductions, I'm just going to, like I say, a few words about my experiences with Agile and Agile Success. What does Agile Success mean? Then we're going to have our executive panel discussion headed by David Luskinos, who's going to give us a very quick overview of what happened at Betfair, which will no doubt invite a lot of questions. Q&A for the panel. We're going to have a quick break. Then we've got some breakout sessions. Now the breakout sessions are going to be interesting because they're completely open to what happens. They're completely unscripted. Anything can happen in these sessions. We've given them nominal titles based on the information that you gave us when you registered as to what you find, what you would like to talk about, basically, or what you would like to get more information about. So we're going to have a breakout session around successful agile planning. I'm going to facilitate that one, and when I say facilitate, I really do mean facilitate. I'm not going to be telling you how to do things. I'm able to share my experience, but we're looking to gain information from around the room. David will be joining me in that one as well. He's got some interesting stories to share, I'm sure. We've got another one around implementing quality with agile teams, and Tony will be facilitating that one. Tony will be in this corner of the room. And then Carl's going to be facilitating a breakout session on large-scale agile adoption. So how do we apply this thing in the huge? And you're free to attend 1, 2, all of them, if you can, because they'll all be running in parallel. There will be no playback to the room of what's said in that session. So if you want to find out what's going on in there, you have to be there. But there's nothing stopping you from turning up, listening, thinking, maybe I'd like to try something else, and going off to one of the other breakout sessions. So we encourage you to, as we say, vote with your feet and find what's interesting to you. Like I said, one of our objectives of the day is that you take something tangible back with you. And you've got a big part to play in that, whether that be from the sessions you're hearing, the questions that you want answered, or perhaps just networking with other people. You have a big part to play in taking something away from this yourself, so please do that. Take ownership of your own engagement during the day. So after our breakout sessions, we'll be coming straight back together to one big group to hear Carl talk about the why, the how, and the what of your agile transition. There'll be a Q&A within the keynote presentation as well. Then we'll have a lunch break, the buffet, which, from what I've been told, is excellent, so I'm looking forward to that one. Apparently the last time they were here, lunch was fantastic. So stay around for that one. And then I'm going to be coming back and just closing things off, trying to pull together a few of the threads that we've had throughout the day, summarize a few things, and then I've got a little bit of a question to ask of you before we go, and of course the raffle. Now also at the end of the day, so that here, closing remarks and raffle is the end of the official day, the official end, when you can all go home. All right. There's also an optional piece after the end of the day, which involves what we call these one-on-one consulting sessions. So on the wall over here, we've got 3 flip charts with some time slots for one-on-one consulting sessions. Now these are free 20-minute sessions. You can use them however you like. If you just want to go along to Carl and just moan about something, all right, you can do that. Carl's got a great set of ears. He can listen to anybody. Great agony uncle. Carl, Tony, and myself will be offering ourselves available for these 3 20-minute sessions. They're completely free. You can talk about whatever you like. You can come as individuals, you can come as teams. That's fine. But it is on a first come, first served basis. So at any point in the day, if you think, yeah, I'd really like to talk to Tony about this, or I'd like to talk to Jeff about this, then go and sign up to one of those slots. The first slot for Tony is going to be a demonstration, the demo that we talked about in here. So anybody can attend that one. So these are the one-on-one consulting sessions. Go and have your chat, go and have your discussions. Sign up for them though. Right, I've got a question for you. I'm interested in what our level of experience here in the room is. And I'm pretty sure other people in the room would be interested as well. It's a gamble I'm willing to take. So what I'd like you to do, for those of you that don't have many people at your table, perhaps you'd like to go and make some new friends and sit with some people that are on another table. Because the first thing I'd like you to do is work out where you think you are on this scale with regards to your level of Agile experience. So if you think you're fairly new to Agile, it's interesting, but not really sure what it's all about yet, then you'd be a 1. If you know some of the concepts, but perhaps haven't got a huge amount of experience applying it, then you might be a 2. If you've got a bit of experience with applying it, you might be a 3. If you're fairly comfortable with this, then you'd be a 4. And perhaps next time we have an Agile success story, you'd like to contribute to be a panelist, then you might be a 5. Okay? So I'd like you to think about that first of all. Write a number down that corresponds to your level of experience in your book. Quite big, so people can see it. And share that with the other people on your table, so you get a feeling of the level of experience at your table. Okay, so could you do that for me, please? So if you're on a table without too many other people, then perhaps share your information with the table closest to you. Shared their number, which is good. So we've got a bit of knowledge as to what's going on at our tables, what the range is at our tables. What I'd like to do now is share this with the rest of the room. And I'm thinking possibly the easiest way to do this might be that if all the number 1s just hold their books up in the air now. So who would you say was a number 1 with regards to Agile? Okay, so just have a quick look round. Okay, just take in the fact that there are some people that are going to be at different stages in their Agile journey. So we've got a few number 1s in the room. What about number 2s? Who would you say was number 2s in the room? Okay, yeah. Okay, have a quick look round. Good. What about number 3s? In the middle? Okay, good. Number 4s? Okay, good. Good. And number 5s? Couple? Okay. Yeah, good. Get their details. Might be on the stage next time. Well, first of all, thank you for doing that. All right. I think it's useful just to get an understanding that there is a range within the room. Okay. Now that might come into play with regards to our Q&As. It might be that we start buddying up. It might be that perhaps you're just aware that you're not the only person here that's only just heard of this Agile stuff. All right. So don't be too worried about any kind of question that you want to ask today. I would go into there's no such thing as a stupid question, but there are. But don't let that put you off. Right, so success. So this is a success tool. And personally, I think it's very important to work out, well, what does success actually mean? So could I have a few suggestions? What does the word success mean? So we've got one definition up here, the achievement of something desired. What does success mean to you? I'm not just talking about Agile success here, just general success. Making something work. Yeah. Anything else?
Can you properly spell this?
Say again?
Can you properly spell?
Can I properly spell it?
Achievement.
Ah. Spelt wrong. Very good. The downside of copying and pasting from the internet. Okay, so this isn't success. Or is it? Is this success or is this not success? Why would we say yes, it is successful?
You have to focus on the essentials. It gets the message across. People are just being picky when they're criticizing your lack of proofreading.
Okay, so on the one hand, we've got the message across. We've probably achieved the goal, which was to get a definition of success on the screen, which was to give me a little bit of a prompt for the next thing that I want to talk about. But is it good enough? All right, and this could depend on our definition of quality. All right, so yeah, I like that. So whenever I go into an organisation and start talking to them, whether it's running a training course for them, whether it's running a workshop for their senior management to assess how they're going to do this, the first thing that I'll ask them is, what are you hoping to achieve by going agile? All right. And maybe you won't be surprised, I don't know, but I'm still surprised by the number of organizations that haven't even considered that question. There are a number of different definitions of success as well, which can be quite problematic, shall we say. Everybody will have their own definition of success, even just on what the definition of the word means, let alone the contextual situation that we're looking to apply success to, namely our projects, our organisation. So very interesting the kind of answers that we eventually get when I ask that question. This is such an answer. I'm not sure whether you can see this particularly well, but this is a picture from one of the organisations that I was working with fairly recently when I asked them that very question. What do you hope to achieve by going agile? In fact, I worded it slightly differently. It was a case of, imagine that you have already gone agile, that you have succeeded in becoming an agile organisation. What would that organisation feel like? What would it feel like to work in that organisation? Coming into work the next morning, how would it be different? Paint me a picture of your organisation post-agile success. And we got a few different pictures back. This is one of them that I've picked out. So they've drawn some happy people working outside, all right, at a computer. They all look fairly happy. Up on the side here, we've got great product. At the top, we've got satisfaction at work. We've got the sun shining. We've got a cloud with nice visible diagrams of progress. So they've got their charts up there. We've got happy customers up the right-hand side. And down the bottom here, we've got collaborative ownership, enriched job, and freedom. Okay, so this is what success would mean to these guys. Could be very different to what you guys think success would mean. And I'm going to test that theory. Now, whether you guys have done this or not, I don't know. I don't even know whether David did this at Betfair. But I'm pretty sure that whether they did this, whether they had an idiot like me asking him to draw something, I'm pretty sure they would have asked themselves at some point in time, why are we doing this? What is the point of us doing this? Right. But I'm going to test this theory. So, what I would like you to do is fix my clicker. What I would like you to do is just individually now, unless you're here with colleagues and you're sitting near colleagues, then you might want to work as a group. But really I'd like you to do this individually. And I'd like you to think, imagine yourself in the future. All right? So your agile journey, your agile transition within your organization is complete. What does your organization look like, feel like, as a result? How are things different? What does it feel like to come to work? I'm just going to give you a few minutes. There's some colouring pens on your table so you can get creative. I'm not going to go around and pick on anybody to show their picture, but if they do want to, that would be great. This is mainly for your benefit. I want you to think about, what does success mean to you with regards to Agile? Okay? So take a few minutes in your books, draw what your organisation would look like after a successful transition to Agile. They're the artists in the room. Like I said, I'm not going to pick on anyone and ask them to share that with everybody else. It might be an interesting question for you to ask back at the office as well. Okay, see what kind of answers you get. It's worth bearing in mind what we're trying to achieve here. There are lots of reasons why we might want to go agile. There are lots of things that we might classify as a successful transition or a transformation. The point is not for you to get the right answer, okay, because often there's going to be more than one reason why you might want to do this. The point really is that you have that discussion, even if it's just with yourself, but even better if it's with other people within your organisation. So there are lots of reasons why we might want to do that. Whether it's to catch the worm in the morning, yeah, the early bird catches the worm. Whether it's to do with time to market, that's probably the number one reason that I hear, is that we want to get to our customers before our competitors do. And an agile approach gives us a better option or opportunity to do that. It could be that you want to establish your territory so that you get more worms, right? Get some market share quicker by getting your product to market sooner, allows you to get more worms. Perhaps it's just to keep up with the speed of change. Or even better, keep ahead of the speed of change. All right. Even organizations that have already adopted Agile are still struggling with this one. All right. Because of the engineering practices that they need to put in place, they take time to take hold. Because of the legacy products that they're dealing with, speed of change on a sustainable basis is a big driver for a lot of organizations going agile. Perhaps it's to reduce waste. What is waste? What is waste in your organization?
Time.
Time. Tell me more about that. What do you mean by time?
Waste time in meetings with slideshows and just you just waste time getting too many people involved and going over and over slides and more meetings and
Okay.
don't have time to do anything.
Point taken.
I'm not here.
So yeah, meaningless meetings, talking about things to the death when we could be doing something. Yeah. Defects. Products that are no longer needed by the time they're delivered. Okay, that one is has personal resonance with me from my history. So basically anything that's not of value is waste. And Agile gives us an approach to highlight that, to mitigate that, to minimize that. That might be a driver. Predictability. Okay, unfortunately, we don't get a crystal ball when we start using Agile, but it does give us greater understanding of what we're capable of. Now, when I started, probably about 10 years ago, this would never have cropped up in one of the reasons why we should go Agile. Predictability would never have been there in one of the business drivers. It's very high up on the list these days. Having an understanding of what we're capable of. When we're doing this stuff right, and we have good relationships across the roles, we have stable teams that have a good experience of delivering, that's incredibly useful to us in our organizations in terms of planning, in terms of customer expectation management, in terms of reducing the amount of firefighting project management that we need to do. This is a virtuous circle for us to get into, and everybody likes virtuous circles, right? So perhaps predictability might be one of your drivers. We know what we're getting. Or perhaps it's quality. And again, this was an interesting one. So when I started with Agile, I remember my boss saying to me, but with this self-organizing team thing, and no manager, and delivering something within a couple of weeks, surely quality is going to go down. Because you're going to have developers just hacking away at stuff with no control. Quality is bound to go down, but I suppose that might be an acceptable trade-off for the benefits that I might get, which is an interesting approach. There's also an interesting quote that I'll never forget. So Ken Schwaber was asked a long time ago, once. He said, someone said to him, so what, I don't have to wait 2 years for you to give me something I don't want with this agile. He said, no, that's right, I'll give you something you don't want in a month. All right? Which kind of added weight to this idea, perhaps, for some people, that you're still going to get rubbish, you just get rubbish quicker. Now, is that a good thing? Could be. When you think about it, or when we started thinking about it, when we started doing this, we found obviously that the earlier testing, the more continuous testing, the greater visibility that this was giving us, the greater interactivity, the greater engagement of the team allowed us to highlight and reduce our quality issues. But in the start, it wasn't perhaps a driver, it is now. And then we have this idea of a team. So with an agile approach, we're focusing less on individual management and focusing more on team leadership. Setting up teams with complementary skill sets, giving them something that they want to be part of, and then helping them do whatever they need to do to achieve the goals of the business. And teams are a lot more valuable, a lot more productive to organizations than groups of individuals. So that might be a driver as well. Using the same people, but in a different way and getting different results. Could be a driver. Hopefully, you're not just following the leader. Hopefully, you're not just doing this because Agile is fashionable at the moment. There are undoubtedly organizations out there that are doing that. But I personally think we're at the stage now within the industry where organizations can't just get away with copying. For a while, you can copy a fad and still be exceptional because the majority is still not caught up with where you are. But we're getting close to the stage where this is just the normal way of working, and those that aren't are going to be left behind. So hopefully you won't just be doing this because this is Agile and we're supposed to be doing Agile and other people are, so we better do it. Regardless of what your drivers are, my recommendation to you is to find out what they are. Literally ask yourselves this question in your organizations. What do we want to achieve by this? What type of organization are we looking for? What benefits are we hoping to achieve? Whether it's to do with time to market, whether it's to do with customer satisfaction, or perhaps employee engagement, or perhaps it's to halt or increase our market share. Whatever they are, you might want to get a balanced scorecard type approach. Some benefits. Resist the temptation to set absolute targets in terms of dates. Okay, I've seen organizations that have said, we're going to be 100% agile by 1st of September. Okay. First of all, what is 100% agile? And second of all is, how do you know you're there? And once you've set that date, people are going to make sure that date is hit, which can lead to all sorts of interesting behaviors, dysfunctional behaviors, just to meet the targets. So everything that you measure will have an impact on behavior. Perhaps not the behavior that you desired. People will gloss over mistakes, and I've seen this before. So how do we avoid this? This is interesting. This is the kind of things that I want to start talking about. How do we set ourselves targets without increasing these dysfunctional behaviors, without encouraging people to gloss over the mistakes, even in a positive way? So anybody know who this is? Sergei Bubka. Okay. Why do you think I got a picture of Sergei Bubka in my presentation? Say again?
Best pole vaulter.
He was the best pole vaulter ever.
He used to keep increasing the world record in a very controlled way.
He did. So he was rewarded, this pole vaulter, he was rewarded with a bonus every time he broke the world record, which his sponsors, his partners, thought would be a good motivator for him to keep breaking the world record. But what it actually did was he only broke the world record by a little bit. And then the next event, he broke the world record by a little bit more. All right? Which isn't necessarily a bad thing. But we don't actually know whether we ever saw the best of Sergei Bubka, because he wasn't ever incentivized to do his best. He was just incentivized to do that little bit more. So even positive behaviors can be dysfunctional in a way. And this is something that I'm interested in. How do organizations incentivize teams? How do they reward teams? How do organizations incentivize themselves? to do what they need to do. So we've got a top secret Agile progress file here for Acme Limited. All right. I've seen a number of organizations that will say, this is what we're doing, this is the progress we're making to the outside world. Yet those within the organization are fully aware that it's something very different. So we have our own internal measures that aren't supposed to be set out to the outside world, and we tell the market, or we tell outside people, something different. Very demotivating. All right. Dilbert says it better. All right. Very duplicitous in our reporting. So how do we do that? Something that I'm hoping we can talk about today. How can we be open about this without setting ourselves up for problems? Where are we now? 3rd of March? How are those New Year's resolutions going? What's the hardest thing you've ever done? What's the hardest thing you've had to try and change about yourself? Give up smoking? Lose weight? Maybe? What helps us when we want to do something really difficult? What helps you? Say again? Coaching from mothers.
No, encroachment from others.
Oh, encroachment from others. What does that mean?
Well, so people know what your goals are and trying to help you achieve.
Ah, so making it visible, putting a little bit of peer pressure on yourself, perhaps. Okay, so making things visible. So perhaps we might set ourselves some very public goals. So I'm going to lose 2 stone by the end of the month, something unachievable like that. And we'd make very visible our progress on that. So I might tell my children, this is what Daddy's going to do. And this is the chart that's showing how I'm doing about that. Put a little bit of pressure on myself. Yeah, that might help. The visibility might help. But probably, the one thing that's really going to help me change is being able to do something that I want to be able to do. So losing weight is just a lower level goal. It's a means to an end. People are more incentivized to do something if they know the higher level reason for it. So it could be that I want to reduce my blood pressure because I'm worried about my health. It could be that I want to reduce the amount of strain on my heart so that I can do more exercise, so that I can go back and start playing football again. All right? If I have a goal like that, I'm more likely to be motivated to achieve it than just losing weight. Does that make sense? So I think organizations need to start thinking about that with regards to their agile transition. What is the higher level goal? That will engage our teams, that will engage our individuals to want to achieve it rather than just losing weight.